So first off, we've got Ben here with us. Ben's one of our co-CEOs at Retrotec. He kind of runs all of the technical stuff at this company. So he's going to go by and demonstrate some stuff for us. So we'll start off with the blower door. And we have one set up over here at our trade show booth. And if you've never seen our blower door before, if you're only used to the Minneapolis, we've incorporated some features into it that make it unique. Including the DM32 gauge that goes with it. So if we get up close here to the blower door, we can see the DM32 is set up with it. Everything's powered on. And one of the unique features about this system is the color coding that we have. So you can see there are ports on both the manometer and the gauge. And so if we look at the top of this manometer here, we can see that each port has its own different color. And a color coordinating tube attaches to it. So the red tube goes to the yellow port, and then we made it even easier. The fan's yellow, so yellow tube to yellow fan, red tube to red canvas. So pretty straightforward how everything connects together. So just to make things faster and easier in the field. This DM32 gauge, this is the first wireless and touch screen manometer that's ever hit the industry. We came out with this back in 2013, and other manufacturers have followed suit since. But as far as getting through this gauge, this one's actually set up like a smartphone, so you can actually control it with one hand and your thumb. If you want to change something, basically just tap it on the home screen there. So just like Ben did, if I want to change channel B, I can just tap on channel B and I can change from pressure to flow. I can change my flow output. I can also change the type of pressure reading that I get. So I can either read pascals or inches of water. If I want to do static pressure on an air handler or something like that. Anything a basic HVAC manometer can do, this can do plus some. And what makes this manometer different from other HVAC manometers is the granularity of the sensor inside of it. So I mean, we can read a small fraction of a pascal. So very low pressures this can read. So you can read room pressures and things like that with the HVAC system running. But this gauge is rechargeable. It recharges with micro USB. It has magnets on the back, has a belt clip on the back. That way you can clip it to a pants pocket, your belt, whatever. That way, you don't have to set it down. It clips right into the top bar of the frame. With our blower door systems, we give you 2 crossbars. That way you have more stability inside the doorway. And with our tubing, it's all bundled together in what we call the umbilical. So that has your yellow tube, red tube, your data cable that allows the manometer to act as the control for the blower door. And since the gauge charges with micro USB, we went ahead and put a USB port on the blower door also so that you can charge the gauge off the blower door fan just in case you forgot to charge it the night before. But in this model set up here, we actually manufacture two models of blower door. So we have the 5,000 model, which is typically used for residential. This is the 6,000 model. So this is the high power blower door frame or blower door fan. And so this one has its own separate variable speed drive to allow it to give it more flow. So the typical blower door is going to give you about 6,000 CFM. This one will give you a little over 8,000 CFM. And so instead of the rings like the Minneapolis has, that has the little tabs that you have to undo, this one works with magnets. So you can actually pull that plate off just like so. And then there's 4 bungees that hold that outer ring in that you can pop that off to open it all the way. And then if you want to restrict it down even lower, we have these range plugs on there that you can see just snap right in and pop right off. And then our typical cloth that comes with the blower door has 4 pockets on it. This one doesn't. This is a special type of cloth, which I'll get to here in just a second. But that way you can pop these range plugs off and then not have to have them on the floor for people to step on or get lost. But since I mentioned this cloth, this is a new product that we're going to be rolling out with here later this year. This is what's called the Smart Cloth. It actually has the outdoor tubing stitched into it, and it branches off. As you can see here, there's a little T so that it splits the tubing off in a couple of different places. What this does is provide wind dampening. So on those windier days when we're trying to get a good reading for our baseline, this gives us a much more stable reading. And so this way we can plug our red tube right into the cloth. So whether if you use Retrotec or Minneapolis, you'll be able to use this cloth and get more stable readings in windy conditions. So no more tossing the hose outside. It's all built right into it. So look out for this later this year. We've got some prototypes out, almost ready to go into the field, and then we'll be ready to let it go. And the price point on it isn't really going to be much different than a regular cloth now. We're looking at about 150, 160 bucks. So that's the quick and dirty on our blower door. If you want to hear more about it, feel free to join us. The whole crew is here today on our virtual trade show booth. So log in and come say hello. So we're going to follow Ben around to the other room here. We're going to take a look at our duct tester. So this is the model 340X. And with this shell, this is a new shell that we came up with in the fall of last year. We actually gave it a metal plate on the side so that the manometer can stick to it with its magnets. So that way you don't have to have the gauge sitting on the floor for you or somebody else to accidentally step on. It just keeps the test site looking cleaner and neater and more professional. We also gave it a more robust design. It has sturdier feet on the bottom of it. So if you do residential or commercial duct testing, if you have to have it sitting up on a platform to get to what you need to get to hook it onto the system, it'll provide a less chance of it tipping over. But similar panel as the blower door, we have our color-coded ports. So green port will go to green on the gauge, yellow to yellow. And then we have a blue tube that will go into the duct system itself. As far as the power just clips right on there. You don't have that little nut you have to tighten down to get a connection. It just snaps off and snaps back on. And another really cool feature about this duct tester is the ability to flip from pressurization to depressurization. So we have what's called the quick connect collar. So there's no flow straightener or anything like that you have to mess with. There's no ring you have to take all the way off. It just snaps off. You flip the fan around and then you snap it back on there. And that's it. And you can just cinch it down like so. So that way it just cuts a lot of your time out, and you can get your tests done faster. You can identify leaks faster. You can see where they're located faster. And then as far as changing the range setting, it's a lot like our blower door. We have a plate that sticks on magnetically, and that opens the fan all the way up. And then you can restrict your hole size with some different size range plugs that you can put on. And if you can look, instead of having rings A, B, C, D, we actually have numbers for ours, and the numbers stand for the diameter of the hole. You really can't see that one. I think that says 20, that one number 29. So what that means is that hole is 29 inches diameter. So those numbers do have some meaning to them. But as far as when you change your range, you just go to the gauge and tell it what range you put it on and make them match, and off you go. So this is the quickest way to test ducts by far, is using this system here. And another special feature about this that I can't leave out is the clear flange that we use to connect the duct system to the return side here. So if we can get a close-up on that, we can see there's two little handles on that clear flange that we can hook onto the grate. This is really helpful for when you have a return in the ceiling. That way you're not trying to struggle with trying to hold up the flange with one hand and trying to tape it with another. You can just clip it on there, come back, get your tape it on there. And then that's our new grill mask that we have stuck to it. It's with the Retrotec logos on it. We were able to source some better tape that's a little bit kinder to our drywall and still strong enough to keep the flange on there and keep a good airtight seal while we do our test. And we now have this duct mask in 3 different sizes. So that way you can get the small 8-inch to go on supplies, and you can get larger ones to do larger returns. So just gives you more options at some different price points. So moving on here, this is a new product that we just released about a month or 2 ago. This came out earlier this year. This is called the Retrotec Flow Box. And this is actually 2 tools in one. It's an exhaust fan flow meter, and it's also a pressure pan. And it uses the same range plugs that our blower door does, and they just snap right in there. When they're all 4 blocked up like that, it's a pressure pan. So you can go around and locate leakage while you're running your blower door to depressurize. And then when you pop the plugs out, it's now an exhaust fan flow meter. And the only other tool out there that's been like this is the TEC exhaust fan flow meter. This one's a little bit bigger, so you can get over those larger bath fan assemblies that have a light fixture built in. So you can do more testing options there. Also testing whole house ventilation. And we actually have it testing this duct tester here. And what's important to mention is when you have it hooked up to your gauge like this, you're reading both channels. So we're reading pressure and flow with a T in there. And it's important because if you get over 10 pascals, like we're barely over 10 pascals here, but that's too much pressure for that box. So that's when we want to open that whole size up and bring that pressure down. And that's going to give us a more accurate flow. So it's important to be able to read both of those. So there we go. Ben just adjusted his size there. And then we have a chart on here. When we use this product with the DM32, we use it with the whole flow function. And then this chart tells us what hole area to enter depending on how many holes we have opened up. So he has 2 opened up. He entered his number in to the manometer there. So 34 square inches. He's between 0 and 10 pascals, so that's good. And he's getting a flow of about 63 CFM, about 60 CFM. Right on. So that's a quick demo on the flow box. And again, if he plugs all those holes up, it's a pressure pan. So 2 tools in one, less you have to carry around in your bag. So that's now available on our website. So feel free to go and check that out. So now we're going to follow Ben back around. We have the new Retrotec Reveal. This is our new smoke emitter that we're going to roll out later this year. Keep an eye out for this coming later this summer or early fall. You may be familiar with the Tiny S smoke emitter that we have now. This is going to be able to provide that same type of smoke at about half the cost. We're able to make this in-house, so we're looking around $500 that this is going to go for instead of $1,000 that the Tiny S has been selling for. But you'll get more bang for your buck out of this. This has a rechargeable battery in it that you can recharge with USB-C. So one of the most common chargers out there. And another thing that you can do with this, it'll have Bluetooth connectivity. So you can actually connect this to your smartphone and discharge it remotely. This helps with some of those hard to get to windows. If you want to see the smoke coming from the inside to the outside, you can do so. You can put it on an extension pole. There's actually a mount on the bottom there. You can see where you can screw it onto an extension pole and then discharge it remotely if you're trying to access some hard to reach areas. So yeah, around $500, this will be coming out, the Retrotec Reveal smoke gun. So it's another new product that's going to be coming out soon that we're excited about and happy to show you during our trade show today. And over here next, we have the Flow Finder. This is the most accurate flow hood on the market. This is what we call a low flow hood. So it reads from about 5 CFM up to about 550 CFM. Has its own display and manometer and calibrated fan built in. So this can do both exhaust and supply. It's made by ASEN. They're an instrument company out of the Netherlands. So they're a company that we're happy to partner with to bring this to the Americas. And it comes with a 16 square inch hood, clear hood that you can see here, but they make other attachments for it as well. You can get a 24 by 24 inch. They also make one for slot diffusers. But if you're measuring exhaust fans, HVAC supplies, whole house ventilation, bath fans, this is the most accurate way to do that. This is the only active flow hood on the market. There's 2 types of flow hoods out there, active and passive. Active uses its own calibrated fan to pressure match whatever it's reading. Your passive flow hoods are like your TSI Alnors, your Testos, that rely on sensors that are going to be less accurate than having its own calibrated fan. So that's the Flow Finder. That's another great product that we carry at Retrotec that we're happy to show off today if you want to stop by the trade show booth. And circling back to our blower door, if you're a TEC user, this is probably something you've never seen before. This is our own Retrotec frame. Notice how it has a seal that wraps all the way around the corners. You don't have that gap there. And they just clip in like that. That's a high impact automotive grade plastic. So that's going to hold up. And they just clip in just like so. and then adjust the same way that you're used to with the other type of frame. But yeah, it just pops in, and you pop all 4 corners in like that. Say you're ready to tear the frame down. Once you have all 4 of them popped in, you can actually disassemble this frame in one motion. So it just snaps apart. Literally breaks down in 1 second. So you can grab both of the long arms of the frames, pop it apart, and it's done. So just another aspect that we give to our tools that makes it easier to get in and out of the house when you're doing a test. So since we have one set up, I'd like to show you a hard panel. If you're a TEC user, that's probably something you've never used or never seen before. At Retrotec, we like to provide you different options when we can. So we have our traditional frame and canvas blower door, but we also have a hard panel here. And these panels extend in both directions. They go up and down and side to side to fill up that doorway. And really, it's personal preference. It's not going to be as tight of a fit as the frame and canvas. It has about 14 square inches of leakage, so it kind of simulates a leaky doorway, but it sets up really fast and has a really professional look to it. Looks more clean, put together, organized. So it works great. A lot of our commercial guys use this too, but just wanted to show you that that's an option. It works great for residential too. And so yeah, that's our hard panel. And I also wanted to mention too, as far as options go, if you like the frame and canvas, we have an extra large size of the frame too. So I know 8-foot doorways are getting popular in residential construction now. So we have the extra large frame and canvas that you can get to fill those doorways. And they're interchangeable too. So you can still use the extra large frame in some of the more traditional doorways with a smaller cloth. But what Ben has here now, this isn't probably something that the weatherization guys use, but it's an awesome tool that we're excited to show off. This is our commercial duct tester. This is what's called the Model 400. And so when we test commercial ducts, we don't talk in terms of pascals. We test in inches of water. So if you recall, there's about 250 pascals in 1 inch of water. A lot of times these tests are done at 10 inches of water. So this fan will go all the way up to 20 inches of water. There's a really high power motor in there. Uses a similar DM32. This is what's called the DM3220. So it has different sensors in it that are capable of handling those higher pressures when you were doing commercial duct tests. But this fan's also used for other purposes too. We can do rain penetration tests with this. We can test curtain walls with this. It's great for all sorts of things. There's also an attachment for the smoke emitter, so you can actually blow smoke with the fan. So this is a really versatile tool that we see used in a lot of different conditions. But if you're unfamiliar with commercial duct testing, this is really the only other option out there. All the other commercial duct testers are a big motor and blower built on a hand truck. So we make the only portable one that can be carried up a flight of stairs by one guy. So that's an awesome tool that we're excited to show off. But that's kind of the quick and dirty on what we have going on with our trade show today. This is all set up here at our headquarters in Everson, Washington. We have the whole crew online here with us, so feel free to stop in and see the latest and greatest. Ask any questions you have. Say hello. Say hello to our Retrotec Man superhero here, drawn up for us by Shelby, who does our quality QA stuff before equipment goes out the door. So another thing that we're happy to show off that's new for this year. And thanks, Ben, for doing demos with us. And again, we're live here today. Go to BPA's website, go to the conference link, find the trade shows, click on the Retrotec logo, and you can log into the meeting and come talk to us, ask us questions, and we'll be happy to see you. Thanks for stopping by.